back to the Maize Plus Pig Farmer, and we have piglets, as you can see. So we got 60, which was kind of perfect average maths. So hopefully everything will work out okay. We've also got our harvesting contract. I have adjusted the value of the harvesting contract down to £1 because, as I said previously, all I want to get off it is the straw. So I don't want any money because I don't want that to mess up the financial element. We've done a deal with the local farmer. We're going to harvest his field for him so we can take the straw. You know, that's kind of a thing that I think farmers do. You know, I used to watch Joe Seals. If you're not in the UK, he is a British beef farmer, and he seems to do that. The local farmer will combine their arable fields, and then he'll come along and bale and clear the straw. So we're even going to combine the field for them as well. So I think this is kind of okay. In the future, I'm going to maybe alter the crops that we plant. I had a suggestion from someone who's doing a similar thing on here, on similar fields, and they're planting wheat. Then able to get straw because we're probably not going to be growing canola again. So I think it was in the last video about selling the canola, and that seemed to be a popular decision. So we're going to do that. I will be placing down a brewer's grain buy point on the map. I actually considered placing it at the farm, but I don't think I've got space. So I'm going to find somewhere to put it on the map, possibly near the sell point that we're delivering this grain to. And then we'll buy brewer's grain instead of using the canola. So we'll sell the canola that we're going to harvest to buy brewer's grain. That cuts down one of the food groups. The other suggestion that I had was to buy beet pulp, which would replace group 3 in the feeding. But if I'm growing wheat anyway, I might as well just feed the wheat, because a field of wheat is probably going to give more than enough, I think. So maybe if we end up running short, we could buy some beet pulp. But yeah, we have a lot of options. I think the biggest cost we have left coming up is going to be buying the pellet production so that we can make the sugar beet pellets that we need. We've still got so many sugar beet left from last year. We've got a huge field this year, so that's going to be our group 1, which is most of the feeding. I would not be surprised if we don't have an excess of carrots for our moisture food. So if we're buying, I think if we planted a reasonable size field of, God, think of your words, man. If we plant a reasonable size field of wheat, I think actually we'll be in a pretty good position. So yeah, I've not really, so the contract's done. So we have got an excess of barley. So question for you, I'm going to throw it in the silo for now. Originally I was just going to F12 it away, but I thought I'd ask you guys, should we keep it? I'm not sure if actually we can feed it. I'm just reloading the feeding because I wanted to chat through the feeding anyway. It's not included as standard in the feeding, but we could obviously edit the feeding because we have that power. Although I'm trying not to edit anything in this, so question, maybe we should just throw it away. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is kind of feeding for next year, I guess. So what we've planted around, and I'm just trying to, God, my eyes don't want to work at the moment. So we've planted around the fact that we're going to use the beet pellets in group 1. We're going to use brewer's grain in group 2, so we're going to sell the canola. We've got maize for group 3, so we should be really good for that because we've got a big field of maize planted, and then carrots in group 4. So I think we should be really good for feed this time. And I guess the balance is if we swap maize for wheat, we need to look at the yield of those two. So while we do the baling, I can do that because I've got the laptop in front of me, obviously. So it's the nice thing about the way I record these. I can, because stuff kind of jumps into my head as I'm recording these and chatting. So let's have a look at that. God, I'm pretty sure this map uses default stuff, so we can just go into the default fruit types. So wheat yield is harvest wheat yield get a little bit less, but not a lot less, and we'll get the straw, so we won't have to worry about doing this. So yeah, I think that might be a good option. So we keep growing sugar beet. We'll see whether we need to plant such a big field of sugar beet. We grow wheat, we grow carrots. We maybe do a little bit of maize mixed in as well. So that's our 3 food groups, and then we buy in the brewer's grain, and I think we'll be good. Now the beet pellets, that's my production, so that's set up on me guessing the ratios, and it does 50% ratio. So we will need to buy in molasses as well, but then the sugar beets are converted at 1 litre of sugar beets gives half a litre of beet pellets, I believe. So yeah, that may cause us a problem, and maybe we should look at growing something different next year. And again, I've just closed it, so let's open it up again. And the whole thing around this is trying to maximise the food that we're growing. So we could go back to doing CCM. We could grow, we'd have to grow wheat, barley and oats to make grain grist. I'm not going to use the Cheatia mill. We could go back to doing CCM, so we could grow maize and millet. We'd get 7% bonus. So yeah, maybe that's, sorry, I've forgotten your name, the person who commented. Maybe we do a big-ish field of maize, mill that into CCM, do wheat, and then you could do beets or carrots or potatoes for the root crop. I mean, it would make sense to do beets for the root crop then, because we've got a planter already. We've got a harvester for them. So, yeah. Yeah, so maybe the strategy going forwards is maize, wheat, and sugar beets. And that makes me not want to put in the pellet production. Yeah, I'm confused now. I'll have to ponder. I've got food at the moment, so baling's all done. We got 18 bales off of this field, so hopefully that's going to be enough to keep the pigs in bedding for most of the year. Doesn't matter if not, just means we won't be getting the manure. Yeah, I still need to edit this trailer a little bit to extend the auto load area so we can fit one more bale set on there. But it's not a big problem. But yeah, kind of wish I'd gone CCM, brewer's grain, wheat. But the pellet production is not very expensive from what I remember, because I tend to not make my productions very expensive. So I'm just trying to drop the straw straight into the pig pen. Don't know if I've already installed the pellet production. Be on my computer anyway, because I would hope I still have a copy of it. That would be kind of bad if I didn't, wouldn't it? I could always re-download it. There it is. It'll be there, won't it? So yeah, I mean, it's only 30 grand. I said only 30 grand. It's not like we're swimming in cash at the moment. So I'm not doing a finance review at the end of this one, because we're kind of mid-month when we end, and I like to do them at the end of a month. So we'll do one next video, but at the beginning of each month I've been taking what slurry and manure we have to the BGA to give us a little bit of a cash flow to pay like the water bill and the loan interest and the maintenance. Because it's beginning of August, that's what we're doing. Money's gone down from 4,000 to 1,000, so take the manure, slurry to the BGA, process it. And also the canola and the carrots are ready to harvest, so we're going to get the canola harvested. Because the other little thing that I hadn't calculated on, and I think I might show it in a bit, is half the sows are pregnant, and they have piglets every 4 months, and we're keeping the piglets for 6 months. So we're going to end up double stacked on piglets. So my food calculations weren't done on that. But we're probably going to have harvested most of the crops before then. So we've got sugar beet spare. The canola we'll have harvested. We won't have sold it, but that's okay. The carrots we will have harvested. I think we've got some wheat stored still. So we might be able to get by, basically, is what I'm saying. But we do need to find some way to put pellet production. We've obviously had to put the butchers in. So yeah, things are going to get a bit snug on the farm. Things are going to get a bit snug. Pellet production might, if I chop some of these trees down, it might fit where I'm pointing at the screen, where the trailer is and where those trees are, because it's not very big. So it's based on the base game Spinnery, if you weren't aware. That's where the building came from, because I can't do 3D modeling. So all of my mods use base game assets like this one. So this BGA, the buildings are actually the BGA from the Alpine DLC from FS19 that became a map in FS22, which meant I could use the assets from it, and I took the BGA, which I loved from that map, thought it looked really cool, and I rearranged them, turned them into a mod. Yeah, that's that. So now we've done that, I think, have I moved the manure? I'm not sure. We'll see. Yes, I have. We're going to get set up and harvest the 2 canola fields. And as I said, the plan is we're going to store the canola and we're going to sell it when the price is good. That means we might end up using a bit of it. Depends whether we can afford to buy brewer's grain or not. And obviously we've got a lot of pork in storage, but I'm waiting for the price to come good. So yeah, it's not so straightforward now as raise pigs, take pigs to the shop, because animal prices don't vary. We have now the product which does vary. So yeah, it's all complicated. Anyway, let's get the canola harvested, and we'll see how much we're going to get, and that'll give us an idea of how much cash we're going to bring in. Now we're into thinking about buying food. If we need to, we could buy other food. There is if we run short of anything, I think now I'm more comfortable with the idea that if we run short, we'll buy food. I'm not going to resort to the farm supply pack yet. So as part of MAIZE+, there is the Doika buy point, which lets you buy grains and things at a slightly reduced price. So if we need to, we could buy some maize or some wheat, and that's a real thing. So we could make use of that. And maybe what I'll do is I'll put that down, and I'll put the brewer's grain one down. I'm not planning to buy beet pulp because I don't think we need that. Maybe we could put that down as well. They only cost £1 because the idea is they're supposed to be easy to add to a map. I just need to find where to add them to the map, and then they'll give us the option to buy food products, I guess. Yeah. And then once we get into selling the pork that we've produced, things will be switched around quite a lot, and maybe we can start to do that, rather than just growing all the food. We'll buy in some cheaper food. And Pete had commented, you may not all know Pete. He's a big part of the community on the channel. Guy that I met at Lama, he's been following the channel for ages. He's on the Discord all the time, always comments on the videos, and he was a pig farmer, worked on a pig farm, so has real world experience of doing this. And his advice was pig farmers will always buy in the cheapest food they can to maximize profit. Particularly these days, I think pig farming is not a high margin thing, so we should be doing that. So yeah, we'll maybe look at going forwards whether we can increase our profitability within some limits by buying in cheaper food. I don't yet want to resort to the farm supply pack. Is really the way to get super cheap food if you want to do that. And not necessarily things like brewer's grain you can't, but any standard grains or anything, or even just straight pig food. That's what I have been doing on my Valley of the Old farm. So you're getting 5,000 litres of pig food for £1,000, super cheap. Or you can buy components of and that kind of thing. So yeah, farm supply pack is a really good way of getting cheap stuff. And the reason that I use that quite a lot, and the reason I justify using that in my head, or to those people that are maybe a bit funny about you using cheap stuff, is you are buying in my mind, feed quality grain. So here we're producing high quality canola that's going to go off to be milled into oil or whatever else they use it for, and we would be buying in lower grade products in their place that are suitable for animal feed but not suitable for being used for higher end processes. It's like if you watch if you're a fan of Clarkson's Farm, and they had some bad harvests, and if your grain doesn't turn out good, it goes to animal feed, and it's worth a lot less than if it's good and it's going into brewing or bread or that kind of thing. And that's how I see it. We're buying that bad harvest, so yeah, that's how I see it. But for now on here, we're not going to do that. And there is an element of that in the MAIZE Plus buy point gives you I think it's a 20% reduction in the price of buying the things you buy from it. And I guess that's the equivalent thing in that you're buying the grains that Alteiche gets in, that it's not processing for all its other things. It is a Alteiche branded buy point, so yeah. It's really interesting playing this. It's a very different thought process in my head. Rather than just doing things as I want to, I'm trying to play in a way that gives a fair reflection on some of the economics. It's thinking about ways that people might do it if they don't know about some of these things, and maybe where they're not always min-maxing things. Because if I was maximizing, I'd go just like farm supply pack, cheapest food possible, brewer's grain, beet pulp. Probably wouldn't even have land. I probably wouldn't even be farming. Or maybe I'd have a couple of fields and I'd be like farming wheat for straw, because I can't guarantee I'm always going to get straw contracts. In fact, when I did one of my pig profitability videos, in fact I think when I did both of them, but no, certainly the second one, I didn't farm anything. Everything was brought in. I had like 4 pig pens and a BGA, because I don't think there was a butchery mod at the time. And yeah, almost everything was brought from the farm supply pack. I don't think I even brought bales of straw. I think I brought pallets of straw from the farm supply pack. Yeah, and I ran a profitable pig farm that way. So, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a balance of an enjoyable game to play and showing whether we can run a profitable pig farm and not cheesing profitability. So yeah. Anyway, that's all the canola harvested. So I say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members at this point. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Any of you are interested in any of those, there are links below. Yeah, let's get the last of this canola loaded up. We'll see how much we've got. And yeah, as I said, no financial summary at the end of today's video because we're in mid-August, mid-harvest. Next time we'll get the carrots harvested, and I'll probably do one then after that. It might be a few months further ahead, I'm not sure. But yeah, basically the finances haven't really changed much. We've earned a little bit of money from the BGA. Costs have basically been pretty stable, so you can see the money's not really changed that much. there's nothing significant to report from that side of things. So it wasn't really worth me doing the work to prepare that extra bit of. I've been tracking them in the spreadsheet, but it takes me a bit of extra work to get that summary up, and there's nothing really to talk about. So yeah, we'll just tip this in the silo. I love this farm. Kale's maps are so good. I really hope he makes maps in FS22. Love his maps. This is like the third one of his maps that I've played. And they are so good. They are so good. Yeah. So if you've enjoyed the video, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions, stick them below. They're really helping this series. It being interactive is definitely improving it. So keep commenting with your ideas, folks. And we have 31,500 litres. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty good payout. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.